Hi, and welcome back to the Citizen channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. And our little feature where we look at a match coming up, and we're going to look at the last game before an international break. I don't think there's anything worse than losing or even drawing a game before the international break. It's so depressing not to be get back out there and make things right. So we're going to have a look at Wolves versus City, the 17th of September 2022, 12:30 p.m. kickoff at Molineux. So an early turnaround after the midweek game against Dortmund. This is being shown on BT Sports, so we're going to have a look forward to that today. Please, if you are new to the channel, please push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications, so you know these vlogs are coming out. Everything City, past, present, and forever, of course, on this channel. And give us a thumbs up, be much appreciated. Make an old City fan very, very happy. Yeah, so let's get on with this little preview, have a look at what Wolves are doing, what we're doing, what Pep's going to do after that Dortmund game, what he shouldn't have done perhaps in the Dortmund game that he'll put right in this game, etc., etc. Please. So what we're going to have a look first is look at the odds. Yeah, so please, when the fun stops. There's no odds show for this game this week. I'm just limited for time. The odds show will be back after the international break. But just a brief look. City are 1-3 on to win the title. Please, I don't condone gambling. And if the fun stops, stop immediately. Of course, you must. City 1-3 on to win the title. Yeah, I was looking at the next manager to leave the job. Whose job do the bookies think? Whose manager's going to be next to be kicked out? Well, obviously Pep's pretty safe. I think he's the least likely, according to the betting anyway. And yeah, the Lage guy at Wolves, he's six, so he's six riskiest, so he's six in the pecking order of being the next out of the door, which. Yeah, I thought it might be a bit lower than that, but it's been an interesting season for Lage. I think he has to do a little bit, improve himself a bit more this season than perhaps normally. Wolves to get a top six finish. I wouldn't think so, in all fairness. 33-1. And a top 10 finish, which is probably more reasonable for Wolves. They're sat in the bottom half of the table at the moment, but I think a top 10 finish at 10-3, definitely feasible. If you look at the odds just for the match itself, City are 1-3 on, which are not the shortest City have ever been. A draw is 9-2, and a Wolves win you can get as much as 8 or 9-1 on a Wolves win. So yeah, Wolves fans, a little bit of value if you fancy it. Fancy us doing what you've done to us a couple of times recently. All those prices at the 15th of September 2022. And if we look at the last game at Molineux, it's not that long ago, is it? May the 11th, 2022. So just at the end of last season, it turned out quite comfortable, certainly on scoreline and probably on balance of play as well. Our team that day, Ederson, Cancelo, Ferner, Laporte, Zinchenko, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo, Sterling, De Bruyne and Foden. So that was the team that stood out. Just have a quick look at my match report excerpts. After 7 minutes, it was 1-0. A KDB pass to Bernardo. A lovely ball around the back to KDB again, who slotted it home. It was sort of the KDB show, this one, wasn't it, if you remember? 11 minutes, so we were 1-1. Yeah, Wolves had equalised. Our defence was all over the place, as Wolves were given freedom with the left wing. The ball across is passed neatly back. Ederson is well beaten by Den Donker at the time, who was fed by Netto. Yes, that famous supermarket chain. But there, 5 minutes later, we're 2-1 ahead again. Zinchenko inside to KDB, both starts it through to Sterling, who doesn't reach it but puts the keeper off enough, and the ball falls back to KDB, who blasts home via the keeper's shin. 24 minutes, it's 3-1. Yeah, probably game over at that stage after we look quite comfortable. A brilliant individual goal after it appears Sterling is upended. KDB just goes on a run and hits it into the far corner for his first half hat-trick. 60 minutes, 4-1, KDB again. Foden tries to find Sterling, but it rebounds for KDB to plant it home. So a little bit of luck involved, but still there. 84 minutes, it's 5-1. Yes, just a tap in for someone called Sterling. Oh, who's that? I can't remember now. I've lost track of who Sterling is. As the Grealish pass to Cancelo is partly blocked, but spins onto Sterling after good work on City's right-hand side. So there you go, comfortable, Ash. Let's hope it's as comfortable this time. Probably not. Overall, a record at Molineux and any other grounds he played at. I can't think of any offhand. We played them 58 times at their place. We've won 14, drawn 13, and lost 31. So perhaps one of the worser grounds we've got records for decent amount of records. One of the worst grounds we've got, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Mid-season, yeah. Let's have a look at Wolves' close season, mid-season transfer window. They did splash a bit of cash to back Leigh, so that's why I'm saying it's quite a critical season for Leigh, really. This one got Nunes in for 40 million, Guedes 29 million, Collins 22 million, Kaladic 16 million. I don't know, Hwang 15 million. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. And interestingly enough, a freebie, yes, a freebie was certainly an international repute many years ago. Perhaps not as hot now, but Diego Costa, yeah, age 33. He was clubless, so he was an interesting late addition. And of course, Gibbs, White, and Dendoncker. That's only two names: Gibbs hyphen White and Dendoncker amongst the better known ones to leave Wolves, but not too much value wise. A lot of frees, a lot of loans coming to an end, etc., etc. But it did end up a little bit of a disappointing season last season for Wolves and the fans. And I think at least he's been backed by the board to bring in some new players this season. I do expect a bit more from Leeds. So 14th is where they are after 6 games. He's not exactly setting the world alight, but it's not quite as bad as it looks, I don't think. They played 6, they've only won 1, drawn 3 and lost 2. So it doesn't sound great, does it? But, I've like drawn 3. Leeds 2, Wolves 1. That was the opening day loss. Wolves 0, Fulham 0. Spurs 1, Wolves 0. Wolves 2, Preston 1 in the EFL Cup. So they did get through to the next round of that. Wolves 1, Newcastle 1. Bournemouth 0, Wolves 0, and Wolves 1, Saints 0. So, yeah, it doesn't look so good, so great, does it? But 3 goals in 6 games does suggest one of the reasons they brought in Costa. They've got injuries. They've got so you brought Costa in. It could be desperation. It could be a master stroke. Let's hope for the sake of City on Saturday, it'll be the former. It'll be desperation. It won't work. That's if, and it is a big if, Costa appears, because he's not been doing much training. He's literally had a couple. As I'm recording this, just a couple of training sessions with Wolves. I mean, the plus point from their point of view, at least they've not been beaten at home, and with City already drawing our last 2 aways, if you like, Wolves will hope to at least to carry on that trend and perhaps at least get a draw. Kaladic, which we spoke about before, suffered ligament problems in his debut, and Jimenez, who's obviously been there for a little while, is struggling. So rumour has it that Costa may in fact get a start against City, but I don't know. He might get on the bench, but I just can't see it. I mean, it'd be odd to see that. But Costa himself has already warned Wolves fans not to expect an immediate impact. So he's sort of dousing down expectations. He's not played since leaving Brazilian club Atletico Mineiro in January, and has now had only, as I said, I'm recording this, 2 training sessions with Wolves. So it has been hinted that he might start, but it'd be quite a shock if he does. Defensively, they're okay. They're quite a sound unit. Collins and Kilman are the centre backs have built up very quickly a very good partnership. And I say as a unit, they're very good. They've let in the least amount of goals of all the Premier teams so far this season, so that's pretty good. The midfield virtually picks itself. They've got the Portuguese trio, of course, of Neves, Nunes, and Matinho. So there you go. That's Legs' sort of first choice go to for his midfield, and they work well together. So there's nothing wrong with that. And up front, as well as the Costa conundrum, of course, Adama Traore, who sort of panics me every time his name's mentioned. We don't seem to handle him very well, do we? He's not started a Premier League game yet. Obviously, he was out on loan, etc. But he's not come back and started a Premier League game this season. But of course, his record against City might make Lage think about putting him in the starting lineup. And all right, we won't have Walker's pace, but I think Walker struggled a bit against him last time anyway, so I'm not too worried too much about that. So despite not the greatest starts by Lage and Wolves, I think he's got an interesting mix of players, and they're certainly not lacking confidence. Still early enough in the season, they're not starting to panic. And as I say, they've got, with that steady midfield and options up front still, and a good defence, it will be a big challenge for City. So, all right, we're going to the starting as favourites, of course, and always it will depend on Pep and City, won't it? Depend on how we do as well with all these games. All these games are winnable for City. It depends how we go about it. So if we look at our decisions, thing I do after I take in the last game and see what happened, who's staying, who's going, who doesn't deserve to play, who does deserve a chance, etc., etc. So I'm going to take this after the Dortmund game, of course, and I have no doubt in my mind that Pep had an eye on this game when he announced that Dortmund team. It wasn't. He claims it was his full strength team, but I don't for 1 minute believe that. I think he thought, you take players like Bernardo and Foden. He was aiming to rest those in particular, I think, and having to come on against Dortmund, all right, was okay, but I don't think he wanted to bring them on in those sort of circumstances. He thought he picked a team to do a job, and unfortunately, it wasn't quite doing the job. So he had to change. He had to change tactically. So I think both those for this. I think Bernardo and Foden are shoo-ins to start this game. I can't see any way around that. I mean, this is a match City really need to win after the last two away disappointments. Yeah, I mean, Newcastle and Villa, very disappointed. And as in the game in May, we really need to take this game by the scruff of the neck and go for it from the start. And hopefully get a couple of goals, certainly in the first half, if not more. Walker and Laporte remain the injury doubt. Well, they are doubt. They're not playing. I don't think they're going back till after the international break now, Walker and Laporte. So they'll be back presumably for just in time for the derby against United when we come back. So if you look at that, if you take that a little bit further, take the look at Bernardo and Foden, who obviously started on the bench. If you look at the Wednesday night starting 11 and those on the bench, and have a look at how they're going to do and what Pep's going to do for this Wolves game, which is we want to go into the international break with a win. So if you look at the lineup, interesting: Ederson, Stones, Akanji, Aki, and Cancelo. Was Diaz rested or dropped against Dortmund? I will say more or less rested because I think he will come back into it. And it would be harsh to drop any of those five guys. I think they played okay, all right. Might have been caught out a couple of times by Dortmund, but that back five was fine. But I think Akanji's going to step down for this one. And I think Diaz is going to come back in. So I think Stones will probably, because I thought he had quite a good game on the right-hand side. Obviously, you've got Traore coming down that side. It might be a different kettle of fish. But I think he's going to play Ederson, Stones as right back. And obviously, I think he's going to drop Akanji for Diaz and stick, of course, with Aki and Cancelo then. I can see that happening. Rodri ain't going anywhere, that's for sure. So Phillips will continue to warm the bench. I'm sure he's aware of that and he will get his chances. But obviously, injury's been hindering his possibilities at the moment. KDB obviously tore Wolves apart in the last side in May, so it would be inconceivable to imagine him not starting. Surely with Bernardo, I think Gundo's going to drop out for this one, don't you? A little bit more pace, get that bit more zing around the place, zing around the first half. Let's start again in the first minute rather than the 46th minute, which we tend to do, and sort of lose a half because we don't seem to get going. So I think with Bernardo there rather than Gundo, might help to do that. And up front, of course, is he going to be brave? Is he going to drop both Mahrez and Grealish? Which didn't really work. I think one of them may have worked a little bit better against Dortmund, having them both on the pitch at the same time just slowed everything down. Didn't quite work. They weren't quite at it either player. So, but would Pep put his trust in Alvarez? Would he finish? Would he start with the front three that finished the Dortmund game? If you think about it, obviously Alvarez, Foden, and Haaland. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping he goes for that. But I'm not too sure to put Alvarez. I think he might keep Alvarez out again and start possibly with Mahrez, perhaps over Grealish or Grealish over Mahrez, either way. But I'm hoping, and I'm going to give you an 11 here that I'm hoping he'll go for, and I'm hoping he'll go for Alvarez. Although, as I said, I'm taking a risk with that one. I think Pep will stick either Mahrez or Grealish in up front. So my 11 based on that, and I'll just sum up the guys who perhaps I haven't mentioned that could be a possibility. Ederson, Stones, Diaz, Aki, Cancelo, Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, and Foden, Haaland, and the big gamble, I think. If Pep wants to be brave, Alvarez, why not? Let's start with the three that finished the game so well against Dortmund. Of course, unlucky Gomez will still have to wait, as will Palmer, but I think that's a game Palmer will play all season. I'm sure Gomez will get a few more games than Palmer, but I think he'll wait this one out. Gundo will have to be happy to play as a sub role to try and shore up a game late on that were leading in, keep his cool, calm head, or change the match dynamic, which he's quite capable of if things aren't going so well as well. So at least he's a good asset to have off the bench. And Palmer and Phillips, for me, I think we only see them if the game's won. I don't see Palmer and Phillips making any substantial input apart from that. And I said, if Alvarez is playing, Grealish and Mahrez, yeah, all right. Mahrez perhaps not as effective coming off the bench, but I think Grealish could be. So again, it depends on how the game's going, whether we'll see Grealish and Mahrez as well. Hopefully, might not see them. Well, we might see them because we're comfortable and they get 20 minutes each to try and do something. Although it never seems to work for Mahrez when he comes on late. So there you go. There's my idea of that 11. Let me know your thoughts on a starting 11. See how near or far we are, but certainly be interested. I'll be happy. I want to get at least 9. If I don't get 9, I'll be a bit disappointed. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know what you think, guys. Your comments very welcome. In charge, of course, we've got Mr. Referee Anthony Taylor, 37 years old. He last took charge of City in May when we drew 2-2 with West Ham United, of course, where we thought we might have thrown that away there, but we didn't. Obviously, it all turned out all right in the end. But that's the last game he was in charge of City. He's took charge of 7 matches so far this season, Anthony Taylor, showing 25 yellow cards, although he's not shown any red ones yet. His linos are Gary Bezic and Adam Nunn. On VAR, we have Darren England. I'm making his cup of soup for him. We've got Dan Robotham. And Tony Harrington is the 4th official, so keeping the 2 managers apart. I don't think there's any animosity between these 2 managers. I think they'll be fine, but he's there to help organise the boards, etc. So there you go. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and predictions for this one. Let's hope we do win and we don't go into the international break on a downer. I hate it. And let's see, as I say, a win and 2 draws away from home. Another win will do nicely. We don't want to drop another 2 points. But Wolves are no mugs, and as I say, I think they're better than the 14th place that they're in at the moment. So please join me for this stats and player ratings show, which will be out Saturday evening. Yeah, it should be out Saturday evening. It's nearly kick-off, so she'll be able to get that out. And I'll be doing a match talking points, and that could be out on the Sunday or the Monday, where I'll re-watch the match under less stress and see how it affects player ratings, etc., and go through all the key elements of the game itself before we head into the international break. And please, yes, a sad day on Monday, of course, with the funeral of Her Majesty, the Queen, but obviously we'll be having a Citizen Live Monday evening at 7 p.m. If you want to have a chat about that, you're quite welcome to have a chat about that. Of course, we'll be chatting Champions League. I've been away for a couple of weeks, so we'll be talking what happened while I was away. Basically, just Seville, wasn't it, that we played while I was away, plus, of course, the Dortmund game now. So we'll be talking that. And, of course, we'll be looking at the Wolves game and how that's panned out, hopefully, for the best. So let me know, guys. Anyway, all your comments are very welcome. Thanks for joining me for this little preview show. Until we meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I, please? Stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Bye for now.